right there. Now that's a flag that deserves to burn. Burn, 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 you queer.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Trump's latest executive order on flag burning, what that means, and if it's really going to fly. There's a lot of different things to explore here regarding this whole flag burning thing, right? I mean, so if I'm just going to be upfront and honest, like right out of the gate, like obviously I think flag burning is like icky, you know, and I don't like seeing people's property get destroyed. I do think to some degree that flag burning can incite violence. But then I also started thinking about, all right, we're talking about the American flag, obviously, but would this then include other flags, say like the pride flag? And I know, there's a big debate about that. I mean, if it's freedom of speech one way, is it freedom of speech another way? Is it freedom of speech really at all? Well, the Constitution and the Supreme Court did a ruling on that back in 1989, and we'll take a look at that too. But before we get into this, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for all the support. You guys have just been amazing, and I'm really looking forward to, watching this channel grow and to grow with you guys. It really means a lot to me. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is the official announcement from the White House regarding the executive order and Trump signing it, and he makes some comments in between, and it kind of just gives you a picture of what's going on here. So let's take a look at that, and we'll comment in between.
Country. Let's go.
Lastly, so this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your Attorney General.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Just what the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning, and then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall foul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in the instances of flag burning.
So it sounds like that they're kind of circumventing around this a little bit. So if you're inciting violence somewhere and you're committing crimes and it also includes flag burning, they're going to be really zeroed in on you. So I don't know if they can actually charge you with a crime that says you can't burn a flag, because I don't know that your First Amendment rights would be violated in this instance. I think that they would be. I don't think he can actually overwrite the Constitution. So they're trying this in a little more of a roundabout way, but I don't even know if that's going to fly, to be quite honest with you, because it's very clear what it says in the 1989 ruling, which I will read to you here on screen. So Texas versus Johnson, 1989, the court ruled 5-4, Trump was right, that a Texas law banning flag desecration was unconstitutional as applied to a protester who burned a flag. The majority opinion stated, if there is a bedrock principle underlying the First Amendment, it is that the government may not prohibit the expression of an idea simply because society finds the idea itself offensive or disagreeable. What I think this is for, to be honest, this is to send a message. This is to send a message out to the world that says, this is wrong, we don't like this, and it's more of a deterrent than it is anything else, because we're going to see this get challenged in court, especially if they actually go after somebody for burning a flag.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they? Incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you hurt any of our beautiful monuments. Everybody left town.
Here's the thing. I'll say again, I don't think flag burning is very nice. I don't think it's cool, and I don't think people should be doing it. And I think it's gross, especially when it's people that don't even live in this country who come into this country and burn the American flag. That's especially offensive to a lot of people. Now, do I feel that way about the pride flag? I mean, I do, but for different reasons. I still think it's gross. I still think it's like destroying property and being weird and potentially just hateful. And we're going to actually take a look at a video where somebody did just that. And it's so cringeworthy. I don't, people that go out there and they make these bold statements and they do disgusting things like this, whether it's a pride flag or the American flag or whatever it is they're doing, to me, at the end of the day, they just make themselves look bad and yucky. I don't know. I just think it's wrong. But I also don't know that Trump can actually do anything about this because of the Constitution, man. As far as the penalty is concerned, okay, a year in prison, like, again, I think this is a deterrent. I don't know that they can actually get away with doing this. There's so much case law on the books already about flags and flag burning, and it actually was illegal for a time. So let's take a look at some of that history too, just so everybody has an idea of what the timeline is as far as the law is concerned and what we're dealing with today.
Many of you have probably heard that it is illegal to burn the American flag. But is this really true? Well, the short answer is no. It is not illegal to burn the American flag. So, if that's the case, why do so many people think it's illegal? Is this just another flag flying myth? Well, the history is a little more complicated. Flag burning has long been a controversial topic. Examples of flag desecration laws can be found as far back as the Civil War. By the mid-20th century, flag desecration laws were on the books in 48 of the 50 states. The American flag is one of the country's most cherished symbols, and as such, the act of burning it is seen as deeply disrespectful. It is an inherently political act, and it's often intended to express sharp criticism of the state. And speaking of criticism of the state, that brings us to the Vietnam War. By the late 1960s, public protests against the Vietnam War were increasingly common, which in turn sparked an increase in flag desecrations. During one such anti-war protest in 1967, demonstrators were photographed burning the American flag. The incident was widely publicized and provoked a national outrage.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with everything that happened in the Vietnam War, but like this just goes to show you that history repeats itself in a way, because you see a lot of people in the streets now doing things like this because of the immigration issues with ICE and all that, and you see it with the pro-Palestine thing, and so you see these demonstrations that occur every few decades for different reasons. Bottom line is that, this isn't new. Like, we've seen this before. This has happened many times in the past. Again, I don't agree with it, but it could be very well someone's right to do it. And as much as I don't like that. And then the thing is this, it's like, if you go out, you buy your own flag and you want to burn it, are they trying to put you in jail for that too? Or is it when you're actually taking someone else's property and burning it? Because that is a crime, because you're vandalizing someone's property that isn't yours. So, I'm like, what are they really going to do here with this? And is it really going to work? Again, I keep saying this, but I really think that this whole thing is sort of a dog and pony show, just to show people that, we don't want to tolerate this, which is fine. But those people out there that are like, I can't believe this, and they're outraged by the fact that Trump feels this way and went and signed this executive order. It's like, I don't know. That's not the hill that I'm going to die on.
In response, Congress passed the Flag Protection Act of 1968, which did, in fact, make it illegal to burn the American flag, or mutilate, defile, or deface it in any other way. So, there you go. That's the mystery solved. For a time, it was indeed illegal to burn the American flag. But that all changed in 1989. In 1984, a man named Gregory Lee Johnson was arrested in Texas after publicly burning an American flag at the Republican National Convention. Johnson was convicted under a Texas law and was sentenced to 1 year in prison and ordered to pay a $2,000 fine. Johnson appealed the ruling, and his case eventually made it all the way to the Supreme Court. On June 21, 1989, the court upheld Johnson's right to burn the flag in a controversial 5-4 decision, which argued that the flag burning as an act of protest was protected under the First Amendment. Justice William Brennan wrote the majority decision and was joined by Justices Anthony Kennedy, Thurgood Marshall, Harry Blackmun, and Antonin Scalia. Chief Justice William Rehnquist dissented and was joined by Justices John Paul Stevens, Sandra Day O'Connor, and Byron White. In his opinion, Justice Brennan wrote that Johnson was convicted for engaging in expressive conduct. The state's interest in preventing breaches of the peace does not support his conviction because Johnson's conduct did not threaten to disturb the peace. nor does the state's interest in preserving the flag as a symbol of nationhood and national unity justify his criminal conviction for engaging in political expression.
So Trump is really challenging all of that by saying that, hey, it does disturb the peace, it does incite violence. And I guess there's instances where that could be true, but then there's also trying to prove that. And I'm really wondering if they're just going to go after people for other crimes committed, but then sort of shame them because flag burning was involved. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. The whole thing is like a big nothing burger in a way. But now I want to talk about like the fact that, people go and they destroy, pride flags. It used to be like, nobody even knew what the hell it was except for the gay people. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't being sold in Target. It wasn't even on that level. So I think with that, people have just gotten really sick of it. So they protest it and they do some yucky, awful things. If they're going to say that about pride flags and that's a crime, then maybe it should be a crime too if it's the American flag. I mean, I don't know. Like what I'm trying to say is it kind of bleeds into all these other discussions about hate crimes and about what constitutes a hate crime and what doesn't. And, I think when it comes to vandalizing property and inciting violence, I think it's very clear when people are doing that. Although lately, I feel like people don't even understand what protest versus violence and criminal behavior actually are. I actually came across this old video that talks about an instance where somebody was burning the pride flag and they wanted it to be a hate crime, and they showed the video of the person doing it and what he was saying, and it was pretty cringeworthy, to be honest. I was like, ugh, what is wrong with people? But to me, those people are just as gross and ridiculous as the people that are burning the American flag too. I just don't like it. But should it be allowed? Does it matter? Again, was it your flag that you burned? Did you purchase it? Was it someone else's? Did you ruin property in the process when you did it? I really think that it comes down to accountability, and people just need to be responsible and more respectful in this country. I don't care if you're far right, if you're on the left or whatever. So let's take a look at the video of pride flag being burned and kind of just talk about that too, because I really think that it's interesting to see people kind of go back and forth on this debate about the American flag versus the pride flag. Some people seem to like put the pride flag like above everything else, which I also think is weird. But let's take a look at this clip first.
A rural South Dakota man burned an LGBTQ flag while spouting obscenities about gay people, all on Facebook Live.
And now the man who says it was his flag wants to see charges in the case. KELOLAND's Angela Kennecke talks with both men and looks into whether or not, under South Dakota law, the incident is a hate crime.
The sight of the rainbow gay pride flag flying in Sioux Falls typically doesn't draw a lot of attention. But when Troy Christ decided to put one up in the small town of Webster, South Dakota for June Pride Month, he knew he was taking a risk.
I thought, well, I've never done this before. It's a small town, I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Never did he imagine it would end like this.
All right there. Now that's a flag that deserves to burn. Burn, 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 you queer.
I was just disturbed, disgusted.
Okay, like that guy's an a-hole. Like, come on. Like, bottom line, like, all right, you have a problem with that flag? Well, then number one, don't fly it. And if it's not on your property, you shouldn't be stealing it and burning it, because that's not your thing to do. That in and of itself is just weird and gross to me that you went out of your way to do that. So that's what I'm gathering here, that this person stole this guy's flag and then Facebook Lived and made this demonstration to show how homophobic and anti-LGBT is. And it's like, you're not helping anything by behaving like that and screaming and yelling. Like, hey, do I understand that there's severe issues going on in the community and there's many things that I don't agree with as a gay person? Absolutely. But like this kind of extremist stuff, like, I think everyone's just sick of it. And it's been going on a long time. And I don't think that people doing stuff like that are any better than the ones burning the American flag, if we're being perfectly honest. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that the executive order from Trump is going to work as a deterrent so people will not burn the American flag? Do you think people are going to rebel and do it even more? How defiant do you think people will be as a result of this executive order? Or do you think, too, that people are going to take that as a signal that they can burn other flags instead? They can burn, say, the Mexico flag or the Pride flag or whatever other flag, right? I just am not sold on the behavior being like moral or ethical necessarily. I think it does signal something yucky and negative, regardless of what flag you're burning. I think that in this country, it's something we really should shy away from doing. It just makes us look like that we are not united anymore. And that really bothers me. It has for a long time. You know, somebody said the other day, you know, united we stand, divided we fall. And I hadn't heard that expression in a really long time. And this whole thing kind of reminds me of that there's people out there doing these things just because they're so damn angry, either about Trump or about the LGBT stuff or whatever. It's like, I feel like there's other constructive ways to get your thoughts and feelings and expressions out other than doing stuff like this. Because I do think that it signals to really, really bad people that it's okay to take it a step further. All right, we burned the flag, now let's set something else on fire. Let's, you know, punch this person in the face, and let's, you know, it starts this snowball effect, I think, is kind of what Trump is saying. You know, at the end of the day, my flag isn't the pride flag. At the end of the day, the United States flag, the American flag, is my flag. So I took the opportunity to kind of look it up too, to find out if in other countries it's illegal to burn the flag, which it is. And I'll read to you, yes, flag burning is banned and illegal in many other countries worldwide, including Germany, France, India, and Israel, where it is considered a criminal offense punishable by fines or imprisonment. And then it says, however, flag burning is protected speech in the United States. As the Supreme Court's ruled, it was a form of symbolic speech under the First Amendment. So at the end of the day, I do not think Trump can, quote, get away with doing this. I think that it's going to be a big problem in the courts, considering how this has been ruled in the past and has stayed as such for a long time. I mean, who knows, though? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a way for him to circumvent this. Or, but guys, let me know in the comments what you think about flag burning. Do you think it's an acceptable thing to do? Do you think it's wrong? Do you care? Does it offend you when they burn the pride flag but not the American flag, or vice versa? I don't know. The way I see it is that burning flags is, you know, something that people are probably going to continue to do. You know, I don't know if anybody's really going to go to jail for it. Like, we've been down this road historically, and now we're kind of going down that road again. And I think some people might view this as, oh, okay, well, if they ignore or don't uphold that amendment, or they find a way around it, what else are they going to find their way around as far as the First Amendment is concerned? You know, you take one step and then another step, and it's a slippery slope. Everybody loves to use that terminology. Well, I'm thinking the flag ban isn't going to fly. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think about everything, and I will see you next time.